This is TWiT.
We've got an article here from CIO that talks about how enterprises are starting to realize that the take it or leave it non-service level agreement service that they get from most cloud companies just isn't cutting it in corporate America. Now, there are two major concerns here. The first is if they lose connectivity, if they lose the ability to access their data, they've realized there's no real legal ramifications to the provider. They can't really go out and say, well, you cost us $10 million worth of business, because the cloud provider can look at their end user license agreements and say, we promised you best effort, not necessarily a 5 nines experience. The other part is the privacy concerns, and that is, even if you're hosting in a private cloud, you are still hosting on someone else's server, in someone else's rack, in someone else's colo, and there are all sorts of legal issues about what kind of privacy you're guaranteed. TWiET, let me throw this to you. You saw this. You saw this a long time ago. You basically said, unless these providers can sort out their legal stuff, well, that it's going to slow adoption in the enterprise. Is that what we're now seeing?
Well, I think there's going to be along the lines of, gee, telephone systems, it'll never catch on. No, the telcos have been able to provide 5 nines of reliability for decades and decades, but now the cloud providers are going to have to step up. They've always been this best effort. Oh, gee, that's good enough. Well, I'm sorry, it's not going to be good enough. You're trying to push everybody into the cloud. I'm a big supporter of cloud technology, but we really need to step up a bit. We need to at least get to 3 nines, and just keep in mind, that's not that bad. You don't have that much outage in 3 nines of reliability.
Yeah. Now, Curtis, I want to throw over to you, because this is one of these things that maybe the average user doesn't understand. Because when we think of a cloud outage, we think, okay, Netflix isn't accessible for a few hours, maybe up to a day. We think Amazon's S3 has gone down, and maybe some of my most popular social sharing services like Foursquare are not accessible for a few hours. It's different for an enterprise. Tell me, what is the nightmare scenario of an enterprise hosting their data in either a public or private cloud and then having that access go away?
Well, the nightmare scenario is just what you said, that the data will in fact go away, that you have so much data out there in the cloud that has not been backed up to another source, so that should something happen to that cloud provider, whether it be a physical outage or legal action or sudden bankruptcy, that you'll lose critical data that you need to continue your day-to-day operations. That's the sort of thing that both SLAs and offsite backup for your cloud data is designed to get around. And we're seeing more and more companies that are addressing those issues in the SLAs that they are requiring any cloud provider to sign before they'll actually do business.